Something new had happened. For the first time in forever, something new. Before the universe, there had been only two things. One was itself, and the other was the turtle. The turtle was a stupid old thing that never came out of its shell. It thought that maybe the turtle was dead, had been dead for the last billion years or so. Even if it wasn't, it was still a stupid old thing. And even if the turtle had vomited the universe out whole, that didn't change the fact of its stupidity. It had come here long after the turtle withdrew into its shell, here to Earth, and it had discovered a depth of imagination here that was almost new, almost of concern. This quality of imagination made the food very rich. Its teeth rent flesh, gone stiff with exotic terrors and voluptuous fears. They dreamed of night beasts and moving muds. Against their will, they contemplated endless gulfs. Upon this rich food, it existed in a simple cycle of waking to eat and sleeping to dream. It had created a place in its own image, and it looked upon this place with favor from the deadlights, which were its eyes. Derry was its killing pen, the people of Derry its sheep. Things had gone on. Then, these children. Something new. For the first time in forever. When it had burst up into the house on Neibolt Street, meaning to kill them all, vaguely uneasy that it had not been able to do so already, and surely that unease had been the first new thing. Something had happened which was totally unexpected, utterly unthought of. And there had been pain. Pain. Great, roaring pain, all through the shape it had taken. And for one moment, there had also been fear. Because the only thing it had in common with the stupid old turtle and the cosmology of the macroverse outside the puny egg of this universe was just this. All living things must abide by the laws of the shape they inhabit. For the first time, it realized that perhaps its ability to change its shapes might work against it as well as for it. There had never been pain before. There had never been fear before, and for a moment it had thought it might die. Oh, its head had been filled with a great white silver pain, and it had roared and mewled and bellowed, and somehow the children had escaped. But now they were coming. They had entered its domain under the city, 7 foolish children blundering through the darkness without lights or weapons. It would kill them now, surely. It had made a great self-discovery. It did not want change or surprise. It did not want new things ever. It wanted only to eat and sleep and dream and eat again, following the pain and that brief, bright fear. Another new emotion had arisen, as all genuine emotions were new to it, although it was a great mocker of emotions. Anger. Kill the children because they had, by some amazing accident, hurt it. But it would make them suffer first, because for one brief moment, they had made it fear them. Come to me, then, it thought, listening to their approach. Come to me, children, and see how we float down here, how we all float. Now here he was, chasing his boat down the left side of Witcham Street. He was running fast, but the water was running faster, and his boat was pulling ahead. He heard a deepening roar, and saw that 50 yards farther down the hill, the water in the gutter was cascading into a storm drain that was still open. It was a long, dark semicircle, cut into the curbing, and as George watched, a stripped branch, its bark as dark and glistening as sealskin, shot into the storm drain's maw. It hung up there for a moment and then slipped down inside. That was where his boat was headed. "Oh, shit and shinola," he yelled, dismayed. He put on speed, and for a moment he thought he would catch the boat. Then one of his feet slipped, and he went sprawling, skinning one knee and crying out in pain. From his new pavement-level perspective, he watched his boat swing around twice, momentarily caught in another whirlpool, and then disappear. "Shit and shinola," he yelled again and slammed his fist down on the pavement. That hurt too, and he began to cry a little. What a stupid way to lose the boat. He got up and walked over to the storm drain. He dropped to his knees and peered in. The water made a dank, hollow sound as it fell into the darkness. It was a spooky sound. It reminded him of... Huh! The sound was jerked out of him as if on a string, and he recoiled. There were yellow eyes in there. The sort of eyes he had always imagined but never actually seen down in the basement. It's an animal, he thought incoherently. That's all it is. Some animal, maybe a house cat that got stuck down in there. Still, he was ready to run, would run in a second or two, when his mental switchboard had dealt with the shock those two shiny yellow eyes had given him. He felt the rough surface of the macadam under his fingers, and the thin sheet of cold water flowing around them. He saw himself getting up and backing away, and that was when a voice, a perfectly reasonable and rather pleasant voice, spoke to him from inside the storm drain. "Hi, Georgie," it said.